In this video, we're going to be covering the last unit on Windows. Take notes. So for this unit, we're going to talk about Microsoft Windows Security Configuration. So participants will learn how to implement proper file levels, permissions on Windows systems, purpose, use and types, permission, inheritance, and child and parent relationships, and customization. Participants will understand how backup functions at best practice backup and best practice backup strategies, which is availability, integrity, major backup techniques and types, and configuration. Participants will understand how audit logging and system monitoring will perform and configured. Audit logging purpose and configuration, performance monitoring purpose and configuration. Section 1, Windows File Protections. So 3 goals of information security is to maintain information confidentiality, making sure that only approved users can have access to this information/data. Maintain information integrity. Data integrity assures that the information that has not been tampered with or corrupted between the source and the end user. Source integrity is assurance that the sender of the information is who it is it's supposed to be. Maintain information availability, ensuring that the data is accessible by approved users when needed. File permissions, important tools for ensuring data integrity and confidentiality. More customizable than the blank state of permissions given to users by adding them to either the users or administrative groups. Use these to restrict access or editing rights to specific data or shared resources. Can be customizable by the individual user or by user group. The types of file permissions is going to be very important because maybe it won't tell us, but maybe it'll give us a task to give a file a specific permission. Let's see here. Full control, administrator level access. Users can make every possible change to a selected file or the contents of the selected folder. Modify, allowed users to change a file's content but not its ownership. Users cannot delete the file. Read and execute, allows you to open and run programs, essentially like a Google Doc that you don't have permission to. List of folder contents, allows users to view the names of files stored in the selected user. Write, allows users to make changes to a file and overwrite existing content. And then read, which just allows a user to view its attributes of the file or folder but cannot edit it or do anything of it and above. Parent and child objects, use inheritable permissions to apply the same security settings to all the files, child objects in the folder, which is the parent object. So the parent objects will basically be like the local disk of the computer, right? And the child objects will be what's in that local disk. So the files here will be finance, human resources, IT, and legal. So, and once you open it, the file that's in financing will be the parent object. So it'll have like these little 3 subjects right here, which is the annual finance reports, the client accounts, and employee expenses. And if you click on one of them, they're just, if you click on one of the parent objects, the child objects will be in here. Essentially, like the credit card info or customer order info. Inheritable permissions. By default, objects within a folder known as the child objects inherit permission settings from their containing folder known as the parent object. You can turn off inheritable permissions and customize who gets what kind of access to certain folders, subfolders, and documents. Depending on how many users need access to a sensitive file or folder and how many files in the folder need to be restricted, there are several ways to apply permissions. If you want a certain user or group to be denied access to all the files, but a few files in a folder, it is quickest to apply a restrictive permission setting to all the parent object folder. Once you've denied those users access to all the files in the folder, you can go to the individual files you want to give them access to or override the permissions for those files inherited by the parent folder. Customizing permissions. To apply same permissions to all the contents in the folder, right-click on the folder, select Properties, and click on the Security tab. Then to edit the permissions of the entire group by highlighting it and checking on the appropriate boxes. Enter the permissions of the specific user or subgroup that you have created by using the Add button to add him or her to the group or usernames box and checking them in the appropriate boxes. What are you doing? Not gonna question anymore. To remove permissions inherited from a parent and create custom settings, click on the Advanced button from the Security tab, click Change Permission, uncheck the Include Inheritable Permission box, and you'll be on your way. Essentially, the customized permissions for the individual users or group using the Add button to extend new folder settings of the child object or to the permission to the child objects in the folder. Check the Replace All Child Objects button. Essentially down here, for the users, Advanced, right here. Essentially, you've seen this part before, the properties. So you just gotta go to the security. Click on Authenticated Users in Advanced, and you'll be able to see the files and stuff that they're allowed to touch and what not to touch. Restricted access or editing rights on data on shared resources. Here are the types of permissions again, which is full control, modify, read and execute, list folder contents, write and read. Remember that read is basically just their way of just reading it, not being able to change anything of it. Full control is everyone's allowed to touch it, change permissions, do whatnot on it, like a Google Doc, giving permission from who knows what. Modify basically allows to change the contents of the folder, but not the user that has it or owns that file. Read and execute allows you to read the contents in the folder. It allows you to execute whatever's in there. List of folder contents, which just allows you to basically see what's in there, not change a single thing, but just look at it. Right, if I'm correct, did I ever do right? I didn't do right. If I'm correct, that's just basically overriding permissions to basically anything. I'm so editing that out.
Sorry.
No, you're fine, I don't care. Sharing drives. So you can share an entire network's files by sharing its drives. So genuinely, this is not a really good idea. Anyone could see or modify your files and could share those files to different people, which could gain access to that and basically steal everything that's on there, copy to a different storage unit, and basically ruin your life. So to turn off the sharing drives, which is going to be important, which might be one of our points on Windows. So open the File Explorer, click on this PC, right-click the local disk drive, share with, advanced settings, or advanced sharing, uncheck share this folder, and then click OK. So right here, right click on the thing, share with, share this folder, boom. You click apply and OK. Oh, there's more. An alternative method to turning off shared devices or sharing drives, open File Explorer, click on this PC, right click the local drive disk, properties, sharing and advanced sharing, uncheck share this folder or file, and then click OK. Creating backup. So control panel, so in order to make a new backup, go to control panel, security, system, backup and restore. So the system image, right, it contains files, program system, and files and settings. Create a system repair disk contains necessary system files. So essentially, create a system repair disk is basically just your necessities in order for Windows to operate at the right level. System image is essentially everything that the thing needs to run with and your personal files on there. So that's right. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just looking at you.
Kind of weird. Section 2, Windows auditing and monitoring. I said that wrong. Event viewer. This displays a log of events occurring on the Windows operating system. So in order to check that, go to control panel, system security, administrative tools, and event viewer, or just search up events viewer. Silence your phone. You're in class. Window logs, security logs to be useful for as the last defense against attacks and a tool for forensics investigation. Some of you are in what's it called again? Forensics?
Forensics.
Yeah, like Shepard, I think. Fiona, I don't know. Whatever you basically know this. Is the last defense into the source of a past attack or unauthorized entry. So you can see here for the application, events logged by program, security, any successful or unsuccessful logon attempts. Setup is the event that occurred during installation. System is the events logged by system components, and then forwarded events is events forwarded from other computers. Customize what security logs you keep by the setting audit policies, which is right now, right here. To access that, go to control panel, system and security, administrative tools, local security policy, local policies, and audit policies. So the blue one means success, generates an event where the request action succeeds. Failure, which obviously generates an event where it fails and doesn't really go through. And no auditing, which means that it does not generate an event for an action. And you can see right here, different types of policies and different types of, what it says essentially. Success, the failure, no auditing. Right click to check the properties to see which of those, basically, whether it failed or succeeded. Must be set enabled for logs to be available in the event viewer. As you can tell, you can see the success and failure and what it's on, essentially. So the audit account login attempts, getting a headache. Task manager shows program services and processes currently running and shows activity and resource utilization. So essentially what this is just a tab of what is basically running in the background of your computer. So as you can check here, there's task manager, which is task manager, that's what it's called. That's what it's running, and that's what's the one thing that's on right now. Background processes are the stuff that in the background that's running, so like Windows, Defender, the System 32, basically everything that needs to run. There are 3 tasks that you can do in the task manager, which is to close programs that are not responding. I punched that back. Determine if an unnecessary piece of software is running, and to find the process that is associated with a certain software. Some processes essential for Windows, and some malware can only be ended here. Sometimes malware likes to be a little bit more of it, and essentially, I probably should have not said that. Cut that out. They're basically rude. They don't like you. They'll make you go to the file themselves, and you have to delete stuff from there. Essentially, it's such a what's it called? It's such a hassle. Really, it's really stupid. Yeah, we're so gonna cut that out. So a list of processes running in the background, which is services. If a service is a suspect, details may be found on the internet. So just Google that, see whether it's supposed to be on there or not. So that's the best guess you're gonna get. To stop an unwanted service, just click on the open services, right click on the service and click stop. Some applications, depending on the computer, will be downloaded automatically onto your computer, even if it's new or not. The moment it connects to the Wi-Fi, it will automatically install this stuff. In some PCs, let's say if you have a gaming one, it will download some malware that doesn't do anything but get your data. It's really weird, and I don't understand why it does that, but do be aware of that. Even if you have like a normal computer, do check, stuff running in the background, because that's how I found out about that. So yeah. Performance. So the CPU basically monitors the current and past resource use. CPU sources by core and multi-core processors. It essentially lets you see what's running, like what's taking a lot of your power of your computer to run it. So if you have a gaming app in the background, it'll probably take a good chunk of that, so like 20%, which is a lot, maybe more depending on the game. Or the memory, see how much stuff it's processing and taking in and out. Oh yeah, here it is. So memory usage, there's in use, which is compressed, 598 gigabytes, which is available for 409. Cached, it is just 387 megabytes. I said megabytes. I said gigabytes, didn't I? Yeah. The Ethernet, which is just a graph of the network usage, so you can see what's connected to the Wi-Fi, what's connected to your personal Wi-Fi. So you can stop that. Down here, you can see what's receiving it and what's sending, as well as your personal IP address for V4 and V6. The performance tab. The performance problems can arise from a broken router, switch, or cable, or from the computer itself. To see resource utilization, click details, click open resource monitor. So it just kind of gives you like a big rundown of what's failing and what's working and such like that. The users. list of logged in users could either disconnect or log off. So just right click on them and you can just see, you know, expand, disconnect, or manage user accounts. Services not in the task manager. So click on the search bar by opening your Windows tab and just type in services.msc. Programs that run invisibly and automatically in the background, running versus stop services. And here are the startup times, which is automatic, manual, and disabled. Automatic, that it just obviously just runs in the background like it's supposed to, and you know, usually just do that on its own. Manual, you have to physically do it and go into their application and run it in the background. And disable is basically it's not working whatsoever. You should know that. And it'll be like on your right side. So there's a startup type and like the automatic, manual, automatic, trigger start. And right here on the left of that is basically the status of it, whether it's running or disabled. So 2 reasons to disable these services. Unnecessary for your organization and insecure. The most insecure services are those that allow remote connections. Example, remote desktop protocol. So you can stop these by searching up services.mss, right clicking on it, and you can stop it from there, seeing what it does. Like I said in the last video, some scammers will like to make you download a specific app to control your computer through a remote desktop. So that's how they get into that. So it's best to delete those and uninstall and disable those things. I think that's it. But yeah, that concludes today's video. Take notes. I will be questioning to you this on Friday.